My family booked a 6-day vacation. It only lasted one. Last summer, my whole family planned a big vacation together. It was supposed to be this once-in-a-lifetime trip. My parents, my sister, her husband, their kids, and me. We booked flights months in advance, split the cost of a big Airbnb, and everyone kept talking about how it would be the perfect family bonding trip. Looking back, that should have been my first warning, because my family does not do peaceful bonding. The drama started at the airport. Our flight was at 9 a.m., and my parents insisted everyone arrive 3 hours early. So I got there at 6 like a responsible adult. My sister showed up at 8:15 with 2 kids, 4 suitcases, and apparently zero sense of urgency. We barely made it through security before boarding started, and the whole time she kept blaming everyone else for rushing her. Then we finally boarded the plane. That's when my dad realized he had accidentally booked seats in 3 different sections of the plane. So now my mom was mad at my dad. My sister was mad that she couldn't sit next to her kids. And my brother-in-law was trying to negotiate seat swaps with random strangers while everyone behind us waited to get to their seats. But somehow we survived the flight. I thought the worst was over. It wasn't. When we arrived at the Airbnb, the argument started again. Turns out my sister assumed she would automatically get the master bedroom because she had kids. My parents thought they should get it as they organized the trip. Within 10 minutes of arriving, 3 grown adults were arguing about a bedroom like it was a reality show. The kids started crying. My brother-in-law went silent, and I just stood there wondering why I paid money for this. Eventually, my mom stormed off to the master bedroom and claimed it by putting her suitcase on the bed, which made my sister furious. So she said if her kids couldn't have the biggest room, then nobody was allowed to complain when they woke everyone up early. That night, the kids woke up at 6 a.m. screaming. My mom blamed my sister. My sister blamed the Airbnb. And my dad blamed everyone for ruining the trip. It was day 1. We had 6 days left. Update: the family vacation somehow got even worse. So after the bedroom fight and the first couple days of tension, everyone was already irritated. But the real disaster happened on day 4. We had planned a big family dinner at a nice restaurant near the beach. My mom had been talking about it the entire trip. She even made a reservation weeks in advance. Everyone agreed to meet there at 7 p.m. I showed up a little early. My parents arrived around 7:05. But my sister and her husband were late. Very late. By 7:30, my mom was all ready, annoyed because the restaurant wouldn't seat us until the whole party arrived. At 7:45, my sister finally walked in, already looking irritated. Apparently, they had been arguing in the car about the trip, about the kids, about the bedroom situation from day 1 that somehow still wasn't resolved. So instead of a nice family dinner, the tension followed them straight into the restaurant. We finally got seated and tried to act normal. That lasted about 5 minutes. My mom made an offhand comment about how next time we should organize sleeping arrangements better. My sister immediately took that as a personal attack. She fired back saying the only reason the trip was stressful was because our mom had been controlling everything. Now they were arguing across the table. In a packed restaurant, people at the nearby tables were literally turning around to watch. My dad tried to calm things down, but that somehow made it worse because both of them started dragging him into the argument too. Meanwhile, the kids were getting restless and my brother-in-law looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. The argument kept escalating until my sister finally stood up and said they were leaving. Mid-dinner, she grabbed the kids, stormed out of the restaurant, and her husband awkwardly followed after paying for their drinks. The rest of us just sat there in silence while the waiter slowly took away the extra menus. That night, my sister texted the family group chat saying they were cutting the trip short and flying home the next morning. The next morning, they packed their bags before anyone else woke up and left for the airport. No goodbye, no apology, just gone. That left the rest of us sitting in the Airbnb kitchen eating breakfast in complete silence. My mom was still angry. My dad was frustrated about the money we spent on the trip. And honestly, I was just counting the days until we could all go home. Final update: one family vacation destroyed a marriage. About a week later, my dad decided to host a family dinner to clear the air, which, if you know families, is usually code for another argument. Sure enough, my sister came in already defensive. My mom started by saying she was disappointed the trip ended the way it did. My sister immediately said the trip was ruined because my mom tried to control everything. Then my dad jumped in and said the real problem was the constant fighting and drama. Within 5 minutes, they were arguing again about the same bedroom issue from day one. At that point, my brother-in-law, who had been quiet through all of this, finally spoke up. He said the vacation was the most stressful week he'd had in years and that the kids kept asking why everyone was yelling all the time. That actually made the room go quiet for a moment. No one said anything. My brother-in-law looked down at the table. My sister was staring at her plate. Then my sister sighed and said something none of us were expecting. You want to know the real reason the trip was so bad? Everyone looked at her. She said it wasn't really about the bedroom, or the restaurant, or the arguing. It was because her marriage wasn't working anymore. At first we thought she was just venting, but then she kept going. She said for the past year things between her and her husband had been getting worse. Constant arguments, stress, feeling like roommates instead of a couple. They had even talked about separating a few times, but they kept putting it off because of the kids and because neither of them wanted to deal with the fallout. Then the vacation happened. She said spending an entire week trapped in the same house together made her realize something. They weren't just having a rough patch. They were forcing something that had already run its course. My brother-in-law didn't interrupt her. He just sat there quietly. Then he nodded, and that was the part that shocked everyone. He said he felt the same way. He said the trip made him realize they spent more time arguing than actually enjoying being around each other. The restaurant fight wasn't really about dinner. It was just the moment everything they'd both been avoiding finally boiled over. My mom asked if they were saying what she thought they were saying. My sister looked at her husband for a second. Then she said yes. They had already started talking about separating, and they were planning to get divorced. The room went silent again, because suddenly the whole vacation made sense. The tension, the arguing in the car, the way they left early without saying goodbye. It wasn't just a bad family trip. It was to people realizing their marriage had quietly fallen apart. And the vacation was the moment they finally stopped pretending it hadn't.